What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here for yet another Tottenham update, and we've got quite a bit to talk about today. So without further ado, let's get into it. And the first one is from Dan Kilpatrick, and he says Japhet Tanganga is expected to be sidelined for around 2 months after scan revealed ankle ligament damage. I mean, that's a big blow for him, isn't it?
Poor guy, and he's already had a few injuries, right? Since he's broken into the Tottenham side. So that's really worrying, and hopefully he makes a speedy recovery.
He looked like he was in so much pain on the pitch, didn't it?
It looked awful. He was screaming in a lot of pain, and that was not a pretty sight. But hopefully he comes back stronger and he can get reintegrated into the side next season. But I even feel like because he's going to be missing a lot of pre-season, it won't be up until like October time probably. We might see him back at his best. So it's unfortunate he's out. He got a bad injury, and wish him the best.
Most definitely. Let's move on. The next update is from the BBC, and they say Bournemouth have made contact with Tottenham about signing defender Cameron Carter-Vickers on a permanent basis. Are we finally going to get Cameron off our books?
If they stump up the cash, Levy won't take a penny less. But we'll see. Look, by all accounts, apparently he's had a pretty good loan spell. Hopefully, we wish him all the best in his future. I'm sure he'll be leaving this time. I can't envisage a situation where he stays on this summer. Yeah,
obviously he's going into his last year of his contract yet again.
Yeah.
Obviously,
do we have another option? Yeah, probably.
Every year we trigger another extension just to get like a few million through the door. But with Cameron, yes, he's had a good season with Bournemouth, and it's just unfortunate for them that they lost in the playoffs semi-final. So
yeah.
I back him to go back to Bournemouth and have another good season, and probably, I think he could become a good player in like the Championship and maybe lower end of the Premier League, potentially.
Yeah, I'm sure he's still young, so I'm sure he can still be a decent centre-back, but I don't think he's going to be at Tottenham.
Let's move on, and this is from Miguel Delaney, which caused a bit of a stir last night on social media, that's for sure. And it says some figures at Tottenham Hotspur are even suggesting that it may be worth returning to Maurizio Pochettino in the search for a new manager. And then it goes on to say, it goes on to say in that article that Daniel Levy feels the need for an exciting managerial appointment as a gesture to the unhappy Tottenham Hotspur fans.
So you're righting some wrongs from the guy you sacked.
So basically, such an idiot.
Admitting he's made a made cocks here of everything. Basically.
Well, apparently in another update, I can't remember who the source was, but they said
the Sun. I think
it was the Sun. They said this was Daniel Levy's worst mistake as Tottenham manager or something, or he thinks it's his worst mistake.
Chairman. Yeah,
Tottenham chairman.
Yeah, 100%. 100%, and it's borne out, hasn't it? We sacked Pochettino when we didn't back him, and we've gone backwards since. Absolutely, we definitely should have backed him. We definitely should have allowed him more time to rectify the situation. And even if he had an off-colour season last season, I know we were 14th at the time, but there's no reason why we probably wouldn't have finished 6th under Pochettino, even though we did under Mourinho. So if we could have just allowed it and then allowed him to rebuild and get more players in, then I think that would have been the better option. We said at the time, I'd rather allow Pochettino more time, allow him to rebuild again and give him another rebuild. But Daniel Levy thought better of it, and now we're in a situation where we're literally chucking managers at the wall, left, right and centre, all over the place to see what sticks. Yeah. And we found ourselves back at Pochettino. Look, he's manager of PSG at the moment. Exactly. I know they didn't win the league. There's no noise at the moment that he's set to be sacked or anything like that. There's a bit of noise that he's personally unhappy. Where we don't really know how true that is, but it's a pipe dream getting Pochettino back. Obviously, I'd love Pochettino back. I would love it.
This is what the Sun said. The Sun said Maurizio Pochettino could make a stunning return to Tottenham this summer. Pochettino is unhappy in Paris and would love a second chance in North London. I mean, why would he be unhappy in Paris?
Because maybe the player is just not as like when he was at Tottenham in the peak Tottenham years anyway. It was kind of everyone was like a family, everyone was together. Maybe it's not like that at Paris. I don't know.
When I saw
you got egos to deal with and stuff like that.
When I saw them coming off the pitch after some of the big European nights that they've had this year, especially Bayern Munich, it seemed like they did have that family feel there. It seems like Mbappe and Neymar are really like under his kind of spell.
You'll be very surprised how quickly these things can change when you're not getting results very, very quickly. Even we've seen with Spurs this season. In December, everyone was pulling in the same direction, and very quickly it unravelled. It can unravel very, very quickly. And I'm not saying it has at PSG. I'm just saying it can, and especially when you have big egos like Mbappe and Neymar and in the squad. if they haven't won the Liga, which they're expected to win every year, these things can unravel very quickly, and maybe it has. I don't know.
Do you think anything in it with the whole Mbappe saga at the moment, that he could actually potentially be going to Real Madrid or someone like that?
I don't know. Depends if they can shift from the wage bill probably from Madrid. It probably depends on a lot of their outgoings.
Yeah, with Hazard and Bale.
Yeah, exactly. It depends how much they can shift. I reckon Mbappe will probably look at it as an opportunity to leave. He's been at PSG, 3 years now? 4 years?
Something like that, yeah.
So, and he hasn't won the Champions League, which probably that was the number one goal, although they got to the final. So, I don't think Mbappe would be against leaving, but I don't think it's one where this summer it's very difficult. He's going to cost upwards of 200 million, probably more, because he's so young, he's so good.
Best player on the planet.
Yeah, and at that age as well, 22, he could even cost a quarter of a billion. I mean, like he really could cost that much. He'd easily be a world record fee. So whether that is something that Madrid are capable of doing this summer is up in the air at the moment.
Well, anyways, having said all that, you can always trust on Ali Gold to pour cold water on our dreams.
Here we go.
And here we go. Here we Gold says Mauricio Pochettino is not currently a candidate for Tottenham Hotspur, but if his situation changes at PSG and he showed interest, he would come into the frame. Pochettino aside, Tottenham are looking to push on and appoint a manager in the next 7 to 10 days.
Yeah, look, I don't think it's going to be Poch. I would love it to be Poch, but I don't think it will be. So,
I mean, he's the only one that really suits what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I know. He's the perfect profile manager we want. We want a Pochettino. That's what we want. We sacked him, but
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a joke. But we can dream, but I think I wouldn't hold out too much hope for this one.
And Sky Sports are talking today, and they say Roberto Martinez is in talks with Tottenham over the managerial vacancy. Great stuff.
Yeah, they're saying what the worrying thing is, they're saying talks are continuing. That's what they said. So it implies that we're already in talks with him, which is a real worry. Look, Martinez, I know he plays good football, but I don't think he's a good enough manager for Tottenham. I really don't. I know he's done decent at Belgium, but every club he's been at, even at Belgium, the defence has always been a massive, massive issue for Martinez. He's never got that right at every club he's been at. And for all the good football, always seems to get undone by things at the back.
I really don't want Martinez, man.
So I don't like... I'm sure that he could probably for a year or two, maybe we could get us playing good football, but it'll unravel. I'm telling you, it's going to unravel, and he's not going to win us much. And his teams usually have a soft underbelly still. So, as much as I think he's a decent manager, I don't think he's the manager we want.
No, I completely agree. And I think if he was to become Spurs manager, I'd be really angry at that appointment. Not gonna lie, I
don't think that's a good appointment for us.
Let's move on. More from Ali Gold, and he says Tottenham have turned down big money advances for Lucas Moura in the past, and should another attractive offer come in this summer, it might prove tempting to help the club bring in a key starter. Where do you think these big money advances has come from for Lucas Moura?
Good question. I don't know who would put.
What do you reckon big money is for Lucas Moura?
Well, we signed it for 25, so I'm guessing probably 30, maybe. I can't see anyone bidding more than 30 million for him. I would look if we got a suitable offer this summer, I would sell him. If we got a suitable offer, because I think
30 million money back.
I think if we got our money back, I think I would sell him because I think he's a good player and he's a good squad player. And I wouldn't say I wouldn't want him part of the squad next season, but if he allows us opportunities to improve in other places, then I think it's worth doing. Because I think Lucas, he's always going to have that inconsistency to his game. He's a player where you just got to accept what you have, and what you have is an inconsistent player who's got very good qualities when he's on form, but he's never going to give you that consistency that you need from a top class player. And
throughout the whole season,
yeah, he'll have games where he explodes. He'll have those games because he has that quality, but he'll never do it throughout the season, and we have to accept that. So I think I'll be happy to move Lucas on if we get an offer, but if he is part of the squad next season as a squad player, I also think he's a good option because he has qualities, but I think he would be a good option to sell if we can get money for him.
Yeah. Let's move on. Some from Fabrizio Romano here. And the first one is not really surprising, but I'll give it to you anyway. And he says, Harry Kane has refused to even entertain any thought about a new Tottenham contract, an extension at Tottenham. I mean, not really a surprise, is it?
Not a surprise at all. So, yeah, there you have it. I mean, Kane is no chance he's going to miss he's going to miss it. He's going to absolutely. There's no chance he's going to sign a contract. Like, even if we offer him a big pay rise, I can't see it, because he can get that big pay rise elsewhere, and he can get trophies.
I reckon even if we were to like offer him to be the highest paid player in the Premier League, he would say no.
Yeah, because he can get that. He can get that out of the clubs.
It's not about money for him. We know it's not about money for him.
Yeah, that's also true. It's not
about money. You know, first of all, he earns enough money to look after his kids and his kids' kids and his kids'. You know what I mean? He's earning enough money with a bit 250 grand a week with all his additions that he has in his contract. So it's not about money for him. The guy wants to become an absolute footballing legend. He wants to be one of the best to ever grace the game. And he, at the moment, he can't do that at Tottenham, can he?
No, he can't. We don't allow the ambitions or the tools to do that. So I think that's just the reality of the situation. I think he knows he can get money wherever he goes. And especially at Man City, who have a lot more money than us, he can get a lot more money than whatever we're going to offer him. So there is no reason for him to weaken his own position and sign another deal.
Mm. All right, and more from Fabrizio, and he says Tottenham opted not to pursue a deal for goalkeeper Mike Maignan, as they are looking at different targets. Well, it's also worth noting that Mike Maignan is signing for AC Milan, seeing as Donnarumma is going out the door on a free transfer, on a Bosman ruling. Mm-hmm. So Mike Maignan was one that me and you kind of looked at, and we thought that he could be a viable option for us. It seems as though that's not the case now.
No.
Do you think Donnarumma could potentially be one? I can't see it.
I would love Donnarumma, but he ain't going to come. He ain't coming to Spurs.
Where's Donnarumma going to go?
Why would... So staying AC Milan's a better option than going to Spurs, because AC Milan in the Champions League. So if he's not going to sign a deal with AC Milan, he's definitely not in a view of coming to Spurs. Who's he going to go to? I'm sure a lot of top clubs will be in for him. I don't know exactly who, but I'm sure he would have no issue finding a club.
Maybe a Man United. I know they got Dean Henderson, but David De Gea is on the way out. But you'd probably say Donnarumma's probably got a higher ceiling than Dean Henderson.
Yeah, at the moment you'd say that, but Henderson is just at the start of his career, so maybe even Chelsea, if they think Mendy's not the one, they could go for Donnarumma. I'm sure there's other options as well, so I think he'll have no problem finding a club.
Completely agree. And let's move on to last but not least from the Premier League, and Tottenham midfielder or forward Gareth Bale is the nominee for Premier League Player of the Month award for May, and he is up against Alisson, Mane, Benteke, Pepe, Ramsdale, Rodrigo and Willock. Who do you think wins it out of them?
So what, signing of the season?
No. Player of the Month for May.
Oh, Player of the Month for May. Sorry, I've heard Ramsdale and Willock. I was like, signing. I think he's got a decent chance. Apparently, no player scored more goals than him last month. So I think he's got a decent chance. Obviously, he got that on the last day of the season. He won us the game. I don't think he's been the best player, to be honest, this month. I think probably Willock might have been a bit better than him, but I think he's had a fine month. So good luck to him. But
is Alisson only in there because of his goal? His last minute goal.
Definitely, 100% he's only in there. But before we end the show, there is a bit of breaking news from the England squad. So England have announced a provisional 33-man squad for Euro 2020. And Eric Dier is not in it.
Really? Wow.
Eric Dier has not been included in the 33, not even the 26, a 33-man squad. So that means he pretty much has no chance of being called up to the England for the World Cup. The only chance is if there's an injury. Well, even if there's an injury, he could go into the provisional, but it's so unlikely at this point he's going to make it into the 26-man squad, even if there is injuries. So
Harry Kane is the only Tottenham player in the squad?
Harry Kane is the only Tottenham representative.
And he's hardly a Tottenham player anymore.
Exactly. So there are some surprises in terms of defence. Connor Cody, Ben Godfrey, Harry Maguire.
I said Ben Godfrey.
Tyrone Mings, John Stones, Ben White from Brighton, all involved in the squad. In midfield, obviously this is an extended squad, so not all these players are going to go.
I give it to Southgate though for not taking Dier.
Yeah, fair play. I think he's got it spot on. You got James Ward-Prowse in the extended squad with Jude Bellingham, Jesse Lingard as well. And in the striking positions, you've got Sacco, you've got Watkins. Saka, sorry. Watkins, Calvert-Lewin, Phil Foden, Jack Grealish is there, Mason Greenwood. So these are all in the provisional 33-man squad. And obviously that's going to be whittled down to 26. Seven of these players will miss out. So it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, apparently he's delaying the decision because of the Champions League final happens on Saturday. So a lot of the England players are going to be playing in that Champions League final.
I'm guessing the ones that play in that Champions League final won't play in the first England.
And
friendly.
he wants to give himself more time, I guess. For example, if there's an injury in the Champions League final, he wants to adjust for that and all that kind of stuff. So he's announced a 33-man provisional. So anyway, that's the big breaking news just coming out. Eric Dier not included in the 33-man squad for the England Euro 2020 squad, and he'll be absolutely gutted with that, I think, won't he, Eric Dier? And for all his talk as well, for all his talk about, he feels like he's being treated harshly by the fans and everything. Well, the England setup seemed to agree with the fans, so there you go.
Well, Dier was one of Southgate's favourites as well.
He was. He went to the last World Cup, scored that goal against Colombia. He also scored that goal at the Euro 2016 against Russia in the free kick. So he has a bit of pedigree for England at tournaments, but he won't be going to this one. And it's a big blow for him, but hopefully it could be a bit of a wake-up call to improve his performances. And if he thinks his performances have been good enough, hopefully that's a wake-up call to show him it hasn't.
Completely agree. That is 100% spot on. But that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any thoughts regarding any of the news we broke today. Thank you everyone for joining. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always,
come on you Spurs.